What is going on, everyone? Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders. I am very grateful to have your attention, at least for the next 15 minutes of this episode. Forward Thinking Founders is a podcast where I interview pre-seed and seed stage founders about their products, what they want to build into the world, and why. We dive into how they spend their time, what's their vision, what's the origin stories, all these things, so you can learn all about what's coming tomorrow. Because these companies haven't hit critical scale yet. Most of them haven't hit product market fit. These are just early stage companies, and the big question is, what can this be? And in this podcast, we bring that out. So with that, I really hope you enjoy your time listening to today's episode. And I've already done 200 plus, so if you like this one, listen to some of the other ones, like with Imadi Kund, Austin Allred, Leah Culver. We have great interviews, so check it out, enjoy the repository, and for now, let's get into today's episode. Here we go. All right, how's it going, everyone? Welcome to another episode of Forward Thinking Founders, where we talk to founders about their companies, their visions for the future, and how the two collide. Today, I'm very excited to be talking to Jake Aronskind, who's a co-founder of Pepper. Welcome to the show. How's it going?
Thank you so much for having me, Matt. Really appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm excited to have you on. Looking forward to learning more about what you are working on. For people that haven't heard of your company yet, what are you working on? What is Pepper?
We are Pepper, the social cooking app to create, share, and discover food with family and friends around the world. Very simply, we notice so much food content being posted on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Pinterest. Yet we realize that not a single one of these platforms is actually catered to the needs of those posting. We recognized so much demand for people sharing their food. They clearly love doing it. But the disaggregated nature of these communities told us that people simply didn't know where. Meanwhile, my co-founder, Matt Skolnick, and myself were big fans of social vertical platforms like Strava, the social exercise app, Goodreads, the social reading app, Letterboxd for movies, All Trails for hiking. And we wanted to build that same social vertical dynamic, but for cooking. A platform that not only allowed you to curate your image and audience, not just what you post, but actually who you post to, as well as enhance your experience in the kitchen with tools catered to your culinary needs. So very simply, like recipe upload, ingredient search, dietary preference filtering, the ability to seamlessly cook your friends, family, and followers' meals, or even just have your personal profile page serve as your digital cookbook. Really one place to just share your food that was actually meant for sharing food.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's awesome. And I think, I know for me, I don't know why, I don't know if it's a market or a trend or whatever, but I've been cooking more because I've just been I don't know, exploring, I've been getting some kits and I've been cooking some myself. So I think this is I think it's interesting. For people that don't know, and I guess that's nobody unless you've talked to you, tell me, why did you get started with this? Why is this interesting to you, and what's the origin story here?
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that, because the first question we usually get is, so what are you guys, professional chefs or something? And the answer is no, by any means we are not. And actually, I feel like that is why we feel adequately suited to be building this platform. We were just two kids who graduated college who liked to cook now that we were, fully in our adult stage, but didn't have a place to do it. And, being socially outgoing and want to share our recipes with friends, we didn't feel comfortable posting on Facebook or, making fake Instagram accounts for our food. So we set out to build it. So very simply, our origin story is that a little over 2 years ago, I was sitting in my basement with my co-founder, Matt Skolnick, and I looked over his shoulder and noticed so many pictures of food in a GroupMe that he was scrolling through. I said, "Hey, Matt, that seems pretty cool. What is that?" He said, "This is a GroupMe for my fraternity. We all post pictures of our food. It's something that I like sharing in. It's actually inspired me to, make some of the meals that my friends are posting." And I said, "That sounds awesome." Quickly went and made my own. It ended up being one of the most active GroupMes I was in. As is the case with many ideas that we have, you kind of put a pin in it and you forget about it for a little while. But, this one was one that the more I thought about it, the more it sat with us, the more I realized, wait, this actually makes a ton of sense and maybe we should do something about it. That domino didn't fall until the pandemic started. When I was at home and I started logging onto Instagram, and it was kind of like that glass shattering for us when I noticed that people I never thought would ever step into a kitchen were sending each other sourdough bread starters. And we said, if only we had this app today. I called up Matt. I said, "I'm going to go through with this and I'd love for you to do it with me." The next day he came over and we had the conversation that was the beginning of Pepper, saying, we're moving forward. next thing happened, we latched on with, some friends who were UI designers, wireframe designers, or an individual who was able to develop the first version of the app, started to add marketing specialists, started to connect with, finance friends to help us model things out. A year and a half later, we very proudly, with a team of, very intelligent and very supportive individuals who have made everything possible, we pushed our public beta on May 26th, and we launched the app on September 4th. And, we've been overwhelmed with a positive response since. And really, you touched on it perfectly, is what happened in the pandemic was that we were all pushed to, the corners of our own worlds, and people didn't want to separate socially. So they found some kind of cohesiveness digitally. And there really wasn't any place to do it through food. And we did see the rise of TikTok pasta and many other trending recipes, but these platforms simply weren't made for it. So we saw a need, we saw the intersection of, timing and product, and we built it.
So congratulations on the launch and having having this something that people can try. If I was to kind of just try it out right now and I downloaded it, check it out, can you kind of just walk me through, like, what would I experience? Like what would I see? What can I do? Just kind of high level, like UX, if someone wants to try it for the first time.
So what you will experience is something very similar to what you've already experienced on every other social platform already. And I think that's what's really separated us in this early going, at least from the competitors that have failed in the past that no longer exist. When you open the app, you'll open to a newsfeed very similar to Instagram or Facebook or TikTok, where you can now scroll through your friends' posts, just like how you would elsewhere. The difference being that each post is now about food, and you'll get a little information about each meal as well. You'll see a title, you'll see a caption, you'll see any ingredients, you'll see any dietary restrictions that are in it, whether it be, vegan or kosher or keto. Beyond that, you'll be able to go to the explore page. You can check what, the most trending recipes are, the highest or most popular chefs are. You can even search, you can type in a bunch of ingredients that you have. Let's say you have egg, avocado, and rice and want to see what people have made, you can do just that. You also can go to your personal profile page, and instead of each tile just being a picture, each tile would be part of your digital cookbook, your social cookbook. Really what we did was we picked and chose every favorite tool that we found on these horizontal platforms like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, and supported them from a culinary lens and giving them that angle that's going to separate it for our user to really empower them with greater culinary tools than they would find elsewhere.
And as you kind of have worked on this over the last kind of period of time, what have been some things that you've learned along the way, whether it's about product building, like distribution, working with co-founders? What have you learned so far?
So we actually launched our public beta on test flight for that exact reason, because we knew that although we could build a foundation for a platform, the actual sculpting of details was going to come from our users. So when we launched on test flight, we had a product that we were so excited about and we thought was ready to go to the App Store. But after 3 months of iterating on that, we realized it definitely was not. And what we did in those 3 months to get to where it is now was we fully revamped our upload post. We changed the way that you added your pictures, you add your ingredients, your instructions, your tags, just because we understood that our product is lowering the barriers of entry to every single person calling them a chef. From someone who's meticulous that has 20 years of baking experience to someone who is a college student cooking an omelet that they don't know what went in it. What we want to do is really hold your hand through that process, and we learned that by working with our users and understanding where their pain points were. We also fully revamped our search, and we revamped our explore. And what we've been learning, especially lately, is that our users love the social interaction. What you'll see in the coming months is we're really leaning into that social interactivity between our users to really just increase culinary collaboration. That is our goal, and that is really our North Star moving forward. I will also add, you mentioned a really important point about working with co-founders. A lot of people tell us that, it's not really easy to work with friends. And I think they're absolutely right. And we definitely have experienced it as a team in some capacity. But at the same time, when you work with a friend where we have full respect of each other's responsibilities and skill sets, it actually can make something pretty special. And that's what Matt and I have experienced, along with the other team members on our team that we've known from, different paths in our lives. So for anyone out there thinking about working on something with a friend, find someone that, you feel comfortable with and that you guys can accent each other's skills, because Matt and I are living it right now. And We also are roommates together. So after calls, when things go well, to walk out and share in that experience, it is something that I'm unbelievably grateful for. And I'm extremely excited that, this is a path I get to be on with one of my closest friends.
And speaking of the path, I mean, let's say you just keep walking down the path for 5, 10, 15 years to a giant company. I'm curious, what does it look like then? Or in other words, what's the big vision for Pepper, and what kind of a direction are you rowing in?
So we are today a social cooking app. We feel that is the most underappreciated part of the market, and we are amateur chefs that want to share what we are cooking. But at the end of the day, we are building towards the food industry. We believe that the food industry, especially food tech and software in that space, is antiquated. And we believe that the social angle of it is lacking severely. I mean, the fact that, the reading industry has Goodreads to go to, or the hiking industry has All Trails to go to, yet these industries pale in comparison to food, tells us that, there needs to be a force in this space to really uplift and empower the creators that are chefs and foodies. So although we are where we are today, and we are going to carve our niche there and support our chefs as best as we can, we are not, closing off any door in terms of food in general, because we know we've got a long way to go.
And in order to make that happen, you'll need some help, right? I mean, it takes a village to make a startup work and scale. So my question for you is, how can the forward-thinking founders community help? Are you hiring, raising money, looking for users, partners? How can we assist?
So today, the biggest thing for us is definitely exposure. We would appreciate all of you downloading the app. If you look up Pepper or social cooking or recipe share, we should be #1 in the App Store for all of them, which is something we're super grateful for. Currently, today in November, we are on a fast track to hitting 10,000 users in the relative couple weeks ahead. Would love to have you all be a part of that. On top of that, we, although are not currently fundraising in Q4 2021, we will be opening a round in Q1 2022. So would love to make those connections and have those conversations so that we can really hit the ground running. We've built something where we have extremely exciting natural growth that has really come on our own 2 shoulders. And we have done that by tapping into personal social circles and working on social media and understanding, our users to really help with referrals. Right now, over 30% of our downloads come from strict referrals, which is, something we're very humbled by. But beyond that, we want to make sure we can pair this natural momentum with, growth that takes the next step. And that comes with, getting outside of our own personal circles and really finding and supporting chefs that are made for this platform, the ones that are lacking it. And we'll do that, through paid exposure, creator partnerships. We have 25 campus ambassadors, and we expect to be in a couple different culinary curriculums of schools around the country this coming January. So would love to have you on any part of that ride with us.
Cool. And if anyone is interested in any of those things, how can they learn more? Or how can they find you online? Do you have a website, social media account, email address? How can someone kind of get in touch?
So you can go to our website, peppertheapp.com. We also are on every major social platform at peppertheapp. You can also feel free to follow me, Jake Aronskind, on Twitter, or you can connect with me on LinkedIn. Always happy to have a conversation or hop on a call. You should also feel free to, find the info at Pepper the App email and send any requests there, or, comment on my pepper recipes, or, very soon you'll be able to DM me there as well. So would love to hear from all our users. We know at the end of the day, we are only as good as, what all of you are able to give us, because we know this is a platform made for the community. So with all of your opinions and suggestions, we are going to make the best possible version of Pepper. And I can't stress enough, we would love to hear from you all.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I think this is really interesting. And I think there's a few tailwinds that makes this kind of like really exciting. So I appreciate you coming on and sharing what you're working on, and best of luck building this out. Appreciate you coming on.
Matt, thank you so much for having me. Excited to speak again soon.